All right, I just wanted to make a video to talk to you guys about making decisions. You guys, there's something that I struggle with. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you. I mean, sometimes it's easy for me to make a decision, and other times I'm constantly flip-flopping on what decision to make. Just pick one. Pick one and go for it and try it out. Don't say, oh, but what if this happens? Maybe I should try the other one. No, don't do that. Just pick one and try it out, but try it out for a long time. Don't try it out for a day and say it doesn't work. When I was getting ready to join the military, I was not 100% wanting to do it. I looked at it as a way out of my current situation, but I wasn't 100% committed to the idea of being in the military. And sorry if this is a little crooked. My thing's just weird right now. But I wasn't 100% committed to that. And I had gone to PT, I had gone to the Puli events, I had done, in a sense, what I was supposed to do. But then I kind of backed out, and then I kind of came back, and it was not until, and you guys, sometimes this is what you need. Sometimes you need a smack in the face. Sometimes you need somebody to tell you this is your last chance or you're done, in order for you to finally make that decision and get your crap together, okay? It took, well, okay, so I think my recruiter shouldn't have taken me to MEPS that many times when I wasn't physically ready, but we kept going to MEPS over and over and over. And it finally, the sergeant major of the MEPS had pulled me aside, and then I think it was his gunny at the time, talked to me and said, you have one more chance. And if you don't pass this next one, you're done. You can't join the Marine Corps. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I started crying because I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like, I can't continue to live where I'm living, with who I'm living, doing the things that I'm doing. I have to get out of here. And so there was a part of me that was terrified, because I was like, what happens to me then if I don't pass on this last chance? But then there was that part of me that said, you know what you have to do in order to pass. Why are you not doing it? Why did it take someone telling me this is your final chance for me to finally be like, oh, I gotta get it together? So I did. I started showing up to PT 2 times a day. I started also going to the gym in my free time. I started running with a corporal that had came back to the area for a little bit from, I think he was over in Japan or something. And he came back for a little bit. So I started running with him in my spare time on top of the PT that I was doing at the office. Dude, it freaking sucked. It was absolutely horrible. But I didn't have a choice. Well, I could have chosen to not do those things and to just do whatever it was that I wanted to do and not join and not pass and not all of that. But given the fact that I needed to get out of where I was at, and that was the only way, I didn't have a choice. The only choice I could have made was to do what I needed to do, to join and get the hell out of there. So when I was at the office and I ran the IST, I had never passed the running portion at the office. I had passed the running portion at MEPS, but I'd never passed it at the office. Well, my original recruiter, so that day that I was supposed to have my IST, we were supposed to drive to the MEPS. And then all of a sudden, my old recruiter, who got transferred to working at MEPS, came into the office. And I was like, wait a second, like, what are you doing here? We're supposed to go to you. And it was like 5 a.m. This man goes, you're running it here at the office. my heart, like everything that I worked for the last few months just immediately like sunk. I was like, I've never passed it here. Like I was afraid that I wasn't gonna pass. So I called my dad and I said, Dad, I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. They told me I have to run it here. I've never passed it here. I'm losing it. I've worked hard for these last few months, being in here twice a day, doing everything that I needed to do. I am freaking out. And my dad goes, well, which he knew I wanted to join the Marine Corps. He knew where I stood on this. So this is probably strategic that he said this. But he goes, well, you know, you could always join the Army. No offense to you Army people, okay? Absolutely no offense. But I wanted to join the Marine Corps. I wanted to be a Marine. I was not going to be in the freaking Army, okay? No. That was not an option. And I literally told my dad that. I was like, oh no. I will not join the Army. That's not an option. I'm going to be a Marine. I'm going to do whatever it is that I have to do. However, I'm not going to lie. I was still a little kind of afraid, but I was like, you know what? All I can do is the best that I'm going to do. We did the flexed arm hang and the crunches because that's what we had to do at that time when I joined, and I passed those. So all I had to do was pass the run. For those of you that don't know, it's 1.5 miles. Now the limit in boot camp is 15 minutes. Our MEPS limit was 13 minutes. So we had thankfully, we had a little buffer there. But I had to be under 13 minutes for 1.5 miles in order to be able to pass. And I had never done that before. I got close. I got to like 13:20, right? But I had never gotten under the 13 minutes. And while I was running, the car was following me because it was like 5:30 in the morning. It was extremely foggy. You could barely see anything, but I ran that route so many times. I knew where I was supposed to run. And they tell me at the halfway point, right? I swear that man said 8 minutes. And I was like, oh no. If I keep this pace, I'm not going to pass. When we got to the end, he said 12 minutes and I don't know if he said 21 seconds or 51 seconds or 40. I don't care. I heard 12 and I was done. I had passed. I freaking lost it because I was like, yo, we had to have been booking it that last half of the 1.5 miles in order to make it in that time frame if I was at 8 minutes halfway through. And I remember running out to the other side to tell, now I'm sorry if I get her name wrong, but I'm pretty sure at the time it was Cahey or Sergeant K. I'm just going to say that, okay? I ran around to the front and she was getting out of the car and she looked at me and she was like, did you pass? And I was like, yes, and I was so, out of everybody in that office, she was the one I was most excited to tell that I passed because she was the one that was PTing me, and I'll tell you, that was probably the roughest PT I ever did was with her. Very fast, very, I don't give a crap how you feel right now, we're running. I don't care, very, honestly, she should have been a drill instructor, not a recruiter, but, but she was the one that I was most excited and proud to tell that I finally passed the IST. That literally was one of the, greatest moments in a sense. And why I tell you this story is, had I not finally made the decision to say, this is what I have to do, this is what I must do, and did it, I wouldn't have passed. I wouldn't have gone to boot camp. I wouldn't be able to tell people that I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I honestly would probably be still in California somewhere doing Lord only knows what. I don't freaking know. But I would not be where I'm at right now. I wouldn't be who I'm with. Yeah, I wouldn't be with who I'm with right now. Like, none of this would have happened. And I flip-flopped on that decision for like a year, okay? Actually, it was more than a year. It was probably closer to 2 years, right? I flip-flopped on that decision for so long that sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I would have made the decision to do what I needed to do sooner. And that's something you guys need to pay attention to. You don't have all the time in the world. You're not guaranteed to be here tomorrow. You're not even guaranteed to be here in like an hour, okay? 10 minutes, something could happen. We're guaranteed absolutely nothing. The only guarantee we have is that some way, someday, we're gonna die, okay? So make that decision. The moment you make that decision, stick with it. Stop flip-flopping. Stop going back and forth. Stop doing endless research, because that's what I do. Stop doing that. Because all that research, what is it doing for you? You still can't make a decision. Like, I'm literally talking to me right now. I do so much research that it's hard for me to make a decision. Don't do that. Find the two or even the one. If you found one, just try it. Just try it and see what happens in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. See what happens before you say, hey, that's not going to work. Okay? Like, pick one and just do it. Don't waste your time battling back and forth, because next thing you know, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, you still haven't made a decision. When you could have spent that year hardcore going after that one decision, and your life could have drastically changed in that year, but instead you kept sitting there flip-flopping it, and you were unable to make a decision, and now you're in the same exact position you were in last year. How does that help you? It doesn't. And I tell you this story because my life drastically changed after that. I made some changes before that, but it drastically changed for the better after I finally stuck with that decision. So I challenge you all in this week, this month, whatever decision you need to make, pick the one that feels best right then and there. Do not flip-flop on it. Do not do more research. Just which one feels better for me, pick it and do it. Put all your effort, all your heart and soul into that for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever the amount you choose. Pick it, stick with it, and see how much your life changes.